Hey guys, welcome to our Chapter 2 study guide. I'm just going over this, so hopefully you've already done the study guide, and you're just going to go ahead and be able to get your answers from this. So, first one, transitive property of congruence, CD equals EF, EF equals GH. So basically we want to tie in the two that are not related, so that would be those two, CD and GH, and so our answer is going to be D. Multiplication property of equality, so I get 5x divided by 9 equals 36. So I want to get rid of the divided by 9, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 9 instead. I don't physically have to show the multiplication by 9, but just show that 36 multiplied by 9 is 324. And again, the best way to do that, just make sure you have a calculator at your disposal for the test. So just double check to make sure it is correct, and I'm going to show you that, yep, it is. 36 times 9 is 324, so this would be showing multiplication of 9 on both sides. Substitution property of equality, it looks like we're going to go ahead and plug in negative 5 for x, so that's all we do. So if you look at this one, negative 5 for y, this one's plugging in for x, so that's no good. But here it looks like we're plugging in a negative 5 for the y. This one is plugging in a positive 5. So that's no good, that's no good. So B's are the correct answer. Name the property that justifies, name the property of equality that justifies the statement LM, then ML. That's going to be symmetric property. Okay, and so it's kind of doing that whole LM to ML, not reflexive property. Name the property of congruence that justifies the following statement, and then obviously this right here is also another good example of symmetric. Okay, moving on, we got question 6 here. It says name the property that justifies A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C. Again, a lot of transitive property here. And this is transitive property, we know because it's going from one piece to the next piece and showing the two further ones that are congruent to each other. What is the converse of the following conditional? If you recall, I can kind of show that this was our conditional, then the converse would be to go ahead and cross our arms. So we're going to flip them. So this is the P and then the Q. So we're going to go ahead and flip those. So it should be if divisible by 2, then divisible by 6. Okay, so we just flipped around the hypothesis and the conclusion. Okay. Number 8, it says, if possible, use the law of detachment to draw a conclusion from the two given statements. If not possible, write not possible. Alright, so we have the P, then the Q, and the P gets repeated. So this usually means we can go ahead and use law of detachment since the x equals 7, the x equals 7 matches. However, because of this doesn't mean always necessarily this. This is not necessarily always a true conditional. So the one thing I would say is we could probably argue that. For this case on the test, you're always going to be given a true conditional, so I'm just going to write it as if it was a true conditional. So x equals 7. So if that's true, then 7x minus 2 would equal 47. Because if we plug in 7 here, we get 7 times 7 is 49. 49 minus 2 is 47, so it does work out. Okay, number 9, it says use the law of detachment to draw a conclusion. If two angles are complementary, then their sum is 90. E and F are complementary. Notice it backs that statement up right there. So I know that angle E plus angle F equal 90 degrees. Okay, on the back page we got number 10, law syllogism to draw a conclusion of the two given statements. If you exercise regularly, then you have a healthy body. So I'm going to do exercise regularly is P, healthy body Q. If you have a healthy body, that's Q again. Then you have more energy, that's R. So this follows the order of P to Q and then Q to R. And then our final statement wants to be P to R is what I kind of want to get to as my final statement. So I'm going to basically write, if you exercise regularly, then you have more energy. Okay. Use the law of detachment and the law of syllogism to draw a conclusion from the three given statements. If it's Friday night, then there's a football game. If there's a football game, then Joseph is wearing his school colors. So Friday night is P, football game Q, football game again Q, then Joseph's wearing his school colors R, so that's law of syllogism. It is Friday night, so I'm going to make the conclusion. So my conclusion is that Joseph is wearing his school colors. Okay, I can make this assumption because it follows the law of syllogism, and since law of detachment, it states that it's Friday night. That's the hypothesis. And if I know the hypothesis is true, I know the conclusion is going to be true. So if P is true, then I know R is going to be true. Okay. Number 12, it says find the value of X, identify the missing justification. So again, this is like a mini proof basically. Let's go ahead and first think about the proof. So I always want to think about the proof. So what is the value of X? Identify the missing justification. So PQR is X minus 5. I like to always put in my information first. SQR is X minus 7. And PQS is 100. Alright, so I'm trying to find the value of X, and basically I know what I'm going to be doing here is probably angle addition postulate because I have two smaller angles and they are going to add up to the larger angle. It wasn't told to me that QR is a bisector, so I can't say those are congruent. So looking down below, it looks like, let's zoom in, it looks like PQR plus QR equals PQS, so that's my good angle addition postulate. Then they substitute in the appropriate values. They go ahead and they combined the x's, so they simplified. From here it looks like we're adding 12 to both sides, so that's just going to be addition property. So pretty easy. Okay. Here is another proof. Complete the two-column proof. This looks like we're given that 12x minus 6y equals 5, and we get x equals negative 5. That's my given. I want to prove that y equals negative 65 divided by 6. So essentially, first step is given information. Next step, it appears that we're plugging in x, so that's going to be substitution. Okay, next it looks like we're adding the 60, so this is going to be addition. Sorry, I got to write property at the end of these. Then it looks like I'm dividing by a negative 6, so division. And then it's just flipping it so the order is the same, so to go from here to here is our symmetric property. Okay. Number 14, complete the two-column proof. Again, we're doing algebra proof here. So we start out with our given. Next, we're going to go ahead and it looks like subtract 9, so it's going to be subtraction property. And then multiplication. That's myself. Okay. What is the value of x? So for this one, we're going to go ahead and set them equal to each other. Man, I'm allergic to video right now. We're going to set them equal to because they're vertical and vertical angles are congruent. So 8x minus 8 is going to be equal to 7x plus 8. Always move our variable first. So I'm going to subtract the smaller one. So I get x minus 8 equals 8. add the 8 to both sides. X equals 16. There's the bell. Okay. Last but not least, and the value of x and y. Okay, these two are congruent, so we can set those two equal to each other. Subtract the 7. Okay, and I got my calculator out here, so I'm going to go ahead and divide 7 into 105. And x equals 15. And then these two right here are going to add to 180, so I can do 4y plus 112 equals 180. Subtract 112. And we get 4y equals 68 divided by 4. And y equals 17. Okay, so all good in the hood, and there is our final problem. So that study guide was pretty short. I highly recommend that you review proof worksheets. Okay, you're going to get more complex proofs than the ones on here. Know all vocab, theorems, and postulates. Okay, and let's see, any other knowledge that you should have? Oh yeah, I don't know, just like be cool to your school. Tonka truck.